What's going on, my YouTube family, and what's happening with my YouTube savages? I hope each and every single one of you guys are having an absolutely bomb freaking night, man. My day, all in all, has not been too bad whatsoever. It's been a pretty long day, guys, but a pretty good day all in all. Savage is still fighting off whatever virus I've been fighting off for like the last week, guys. Me, the old lady, the kids, the fam, we've all been kind of dealing with the same thing in the last week. It's like a roller coaster, guys. Every time I feel like my body is fighting it off, she comes right back. But before we even get all up into tonight's video, guys, quick disclaimer for the YouTube community guidelines. Nobody featured in this video or any of my videos is under the age of 21 and or holds their Ohio licensed medical marijuana card through the state of Ohio. There are no minors featured in any of my videos, guys, not now, not literally ever, and all the content that I do upload to the channel for you savages is for educational and entertainment purposes only, man. Now that we got that beat up and busted right on out the way, drop it in the comments what you guys are about to be burning on during the course of tonight's video. I absolutely always love seeing that. And drop it in the comments what you guys would like to see me do a review on next. If any of you savages enjoyed this video, man, please hit it with a thumbs up. That helps the channel out as a whole more than you guys could possibly imagine, man. The more likes we get on these videos, the more that YouTube's algorithm actually decides to circulate the content around to people who have never seen the channel before. So we go ahead and get some new savages to join that savage army. Never, nothing wrong with that, guys. Am I right? And if any of you savages dislike this video, go ahead and hit it with a thumbs down and drop it in the comments why you guys disliked it and what you would like to see me do better in the next video, guys. Alright, savages, what do we got twisted up for you guys tonight, man? Some of that Intergalactic Sensei mixed in with some of that Slaps from GTI. A good 50-50 even ratio, and both of these strains are hybrid dominant. I feel like I liked both of them pretty much equally. I don't know, man, that's tough. I'd say in terms of the effect, Intergalactic Sensei all day. I kind of like the flavor personally, just personal preference, a little bit more on the Slaps, but if you guys just want to get straight out faded and baked, the Intergalactic Sensei is definitely the way to go. Tastes like an overly excessive piney OG, but it hits you like one too, guys. I've been impressed with pretty much everything that I've tried from them, not just because of how cheap this stuff is, guys, but the quality of the flower itself. Chef's kiss. In my opinion, is the stuff perfect? Is it top shelf? Not quite, but a couple of them have kind of shocked me, guys. I'm not going to lie to you guys one bit. Topic for tonight's video, guys. Why does the Savage like joints as much as I do? And if you guys have been rocking with me for a while, you've probably noticed that's really all I smoke. I don't smoke bowls. I don't smoke bong rips, really. I have a bong. I have a bowl, but I rarely ever use them, honestly, guys. And honestly, guys, there are quite a few different reasons why I prefer smoking joints as opposed to everything else. Some of it has to do with nostalgia. A lot of it has to do with flavor, because you guys know me, I am a nerd on the flavor, guys. One of the most interesting factors when it comes to trying different strains, especially in this new day and age where weed, in my opinion, guys, and this is just the way that I see it, it definitely seems like it's more about the flavor of things as opposed to how strong the flower itself actually is. Whereas back in the day when I was coming up, the most important thing to us back then, guys, just little whippersnappers of stoners, was definitely how strong the stuff was. The taste was kind of like a backseat. If we got something that smelled and tasted great, that was just like a bonus, but it could taste great all day. If it doesn't do what we need it to do, what's the point? Am I right, savages? That's where it's kind of a little bit interesting, because in my opinion, guys, I just tested this again last night, but this is something that I've actually known for some time. If you guys are like, just say, on a budget, or you don't have very much weed on deck at any given point in time, and you just want to get the most out of your flower, I'm going to go ahead and say bong rips and just smoking bowls. Not only is it going to conserve your flower a lot more, you're going to be able to get more smoking sessions out of it, but in my humble opinion, you actually do get more faded off smoking spoon pipes, bongs, bubblers, all that good stuff, as opposed to a joint. And maybe some of that is because my tolerance, so to speak, is just so used to toking on doobies. But the crazy part is, guys, I could take half of the bud that it took to roll this little scoob, put it in a bowl, and probably get high 2 to 3 times as opposed to the one high that I'm going to get off of this, but I still enjoy doobies a lot more. Let's get into why. The nostalgia part of it, guys. When I was coming up as a teenager, let's go ahead and light this up. Might as well start this little savage session, guys, and drop it in the comments where you guys just twisted up and what you're lighting up. I absolutely always love seeing that. I am a weed nerd, guys. I love seeing what you guys are burning on. More than you guys might actually think. So, when I was coming up as a teenager, the homie that I started smoking with just right out the gate was one of my older cousins. And back then, especially, I really looked at this cat like an older brother to me. Just the bond that we had accumulated over time. Me and him kicked it with just each other almost really like exclusively for an entire summer, guys. And this was the same summer that I really started smoking pot heavy. And you guys could probably already guess, this cousin in question always rolled up fat ass joints. And I'm not talking, he would never even roll joints this size, guys. They were always the size of his thumb. Now, to be fair, back then, this guy was smoking on like the cheapest pack you guys could possibly think of. Definitely the definition of some Reggie Jackson, some mids, so to speak, guys. So, of course, he was going to be rolling up joints that size. Nevertheless, definitely think that's when it all started, right then and there, with me really liking joints. Now, when I first started rolling up on my own, I started with blunts, guys, but that was almost purely out of like the scene of the times back then. When I was like 17, 18, it was like the thing to do to smoke blunts. That was part of it, but really most of it and the rest of it, guys, was just the fact that rolling blunts for me was a much easier introduction into rolling up on my own, because prior to that, I always had to have my cousin roll my doobies for me, and I absolutely freaking hated it. The other reason I used to smoke blunts back in the day, it's all coming back to me now, is because in my opinion, they used to like burn slower. So as a teenager, of course, I couldn't afford to smoke as much weed as I would have liked back then. So we definitely had to make it stretch a little bit further than it would rolling it up in a paper, guys. I don't know why my teenage mind thought that way back then, but I definitely felt like blunts burned slower. It wasn't until later when I started actually twisting up my own doobies that I realized that if you're a seasoned J roller, your joint should actually burn around the same amount of time as a blunt, unless you're just rolling up 3.5 L's or something like that. Of course, that's gonna burn slower. Boom, that's the nostalgia part of the why I like smoking joints so much, guys. The next part of it, I feel like, is just the ritual, guys, of really getting to know each strain of flower, grinding it up, really getting personal with it, seeing what this stuff looks like, how it feels grinded down and in your hand, and how it feels rolling it up into a paper. Then you get the final finished product, guys, and I am addicted to rolling just like really good joints. It's like a hobby. I'll never get sick of rolling weed, guys. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but it's almost a little bit artistic. Then at the very end, you get to actually light that puppy up and smoke on it and see how your art turned out. I love it. There's just something about the ritual, guys, of grinding down all kinds of different strains, rolling them up, and then seeing how they smoke when it's all said and done. And that's why I honestly put the burn just as important as every other factor of my reviews, because it is, like, honestly a very important part of the smoke to me. How the joint and the flower itself burns really does dictate how much I like that specific strain in question, guys. It really does. Savages who have been rocking with me for a while could probably tell, man, but if you guys are new to the channel, if I spark up something and it starts burning black or like heavily peppery, it's getting points knocked off literally like right away, guys. If it ain't white, it ain't right. That's kind of what I always say, guys. There's a lot of freaking cuts in this video, Savages. I apologize. When I'm kind of feeling sick and crummy, I really am kind of antisocial, so I'm kind of pushing myself a little bit to get this video out. Definitely wanted to give you, Savages, a nice little nighttime session, and halfway through this one, my sinuses are acting up, so I can't taste it as good as I would like to, but mixing both of those together, it's definitely burning nice, guys. Oh yes, 2 hybrid dominant flowers. I'm getting that candy flavor coming in from the slaps, but man, the flavor and the terp on that Intergalactic Sensei, I'm not gonna lie, so far is dominating this joint. Just heavy pine, guys. Heavy pine and some mild earthiness, but earthiness in a pleasant way. I really like the Intergalactic Sensei. I would say overall, I probably like that one a little bit more. I like, personal preference, the flavor on the slaps just a little bit more, but everything else is better on the Intergalactic Sensei. That's how I'm feeling about it now. Anyway, Savages, I pretty much roasted through the entire tenth of that stuff at this point. I just put the last of it in this doobie. So we've got nostalgia, okay? We've got the ritualistic part of it. What's the rest of it, man? And I think one of the biggest factors for me personally, guys, just if I was to smoke a joint as opposed to a bong rip, I can't really speak too much on herbal vaporizers, even though from what I hear from you savages, especially you, Day One Savage, Alec, brother, you're awesome. And thank you for letting me know that. Honestly, coming from you, I'm probably definitely going to be giving that a try as soon as I have the extra cash to spend on something like that, or I have enough loyalty points through one of these dispensaries. I'll definitely be checking that out. But for right now, the Papers is as close as it gets in terms of getting the best flavor out of your flower. And that is one of the biggest reasons specifically, guys, why I do joints when I do my reviews. Because in terms of the taste, man, just as opposed to bowls, I've smoked the same strain out of my bowl last night, and then I smoked a doobie right after it. And I can tell you guys one thing. I feel like you get more stoned off the bowl, but you definitely lose almost all of the flavor, even off something that tastes absolutely exquisite. If you get some stuff that really tastes good, you're probably still going to get some of that terp coming through off the bowl, but it ain't going to be nothing like rolling up a fresh joint in a good, nice quality paper, guys. And to me, if I was being totally honest, with all that stuff considered, the flavor part of it is probably the biggest reason why I do joints so often and so consistently, because I'm a flavor head, guys, especially with the stuff that's out now, most of the flower being what the kids would call exotic. I definitely want to get as much of that flavor profile as I can, and I already know that I'm not going to get it out of a bowl or out of a bong. You probably have a better chance of getting that flavor out of a water pipe as opposed to a dry pipe. I just feel like that's obvious, guys. But for those who don't know, the whole point of water pipes is really so that the water can filter some of that smoke, give you a nice cleaner and smoother hit, as opposed to a dry pipe like a spoon pipe, regular little pipe that you would probably start out smoking with. That's just hot, stale smoke, guys. That's why a lot of the times you take a fat rip out of a bowl and the smoke literally turns freaking yellow. Tell me you guys have ever taken a yellow hit that wasn't just the most god-awful thing you've ever tasted and or put in your throat. Pause. Then I guess there's a bunch of other stuff I like about doobies. For one thing, not having to light it over and over again. I can just light it once and kind of chill here with it. And on some good pack, you ain't really got to worry about it going out over and over again. That apple fritter cake from The Botanist literally was the worst for that, guys. The worst stuff I've had in a while for it anyway. I think I had to relight that doobie, at least in the video anyway, 3 or 4 different times. But yeah, man, that's why the Savage really prefers to smoke joints, guys. This one's a quarter out from being done. Let's just go ahead and take some Savage power hits on this and end this session out for you Savages, so we can hit the hay. It's 11:15 already out here in Canton, Ohio. Kind of getting on the late side on a Monday night. Oh, yeah. I hope you guys are getting baked right there along with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And drop it in the comments what you guys' favorite way of taking in flower is. For me, it's always been the Papers, guys. Not only is it nostalgic, I get the best flavor out of it, and there's just something about watching how good my roll burns. I've never gotten sick of it, guys. I've never gotten sick of rolling bud. The fact that every bag you get is different than the last definitely helps with that. But I don't know, man. It's kind of like riding a bike. It's also something you pretty much never forget how to do. And this one smoked, man. Almost perfectly white ash on the cross, on the mixture. And this is just a different little off-the-cuff type of video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit it with a thumbs up. And I hope you guys have an absolutely blessed, savage, and stoned rest of your night. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.